50 Cent has been one of the biggest Diddy haters of all time. Actually, I would argue that he is the biggest Diddy hater, and he has been for years and years and years.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's gonna feel?
I think he's gonna say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
I've talked about this before. I've done videos on it before. And, you know, honestly, I like how much of a troll 50 Cent is, because I gotta be honest, he's a bit of a graceful troll, because let me explain. Now, I'm sure he's had his things in the past that were much less than graceful, but when we get to today, this day and age, let me just explain this to you briefly. 50 Cent recently put out a documentary about P. Diddy. They have hated each other for 20 years. And 20 years ago, P. Diddy was running everything, right? And 50 really went against the grain to keep doing what he was doing, but be like, I really don't fuck with P. Diddy, especially when P. Diddy was running everything. Now, regardless of what you think about 50 Cent or whatever you think about P. Diddy, think about the social dynamics of there is one person that is powerful financially, legally, socially popular, and then another person that is fairly popular and has a bit to lose, but says, I'm not fucking with this dude. I'm not doing this. In fact, I'm plotting and I'm waiting, okay? That is what 50 Cent is in this situation. Now, where are we today? Girl, after P. Diddy was arrested, and actually even before, 50 Cent started gathering all the evidence. He started gathering everything he could. And he went to Netflix and he said, hey, let's do a documentary on Diddy. So he went and sold a documentary about his arch nemesis to Netflix before the case had even closed, and he started working on it. So y'all gotta remember, while P. Diddy is going through the biggest legal battle of his entire life, he is in jail, he is in the courtroom, he has to remember that his biggest hater is working out a documentary on him right there. The psychological warfare while we was watching Diddy in the courtroom, it was 50 Cent in his brain going, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. I mean, think about it. Like, that is what was happening. And then after the Diddy verdict comes out, because they needed that for the end of the documentary, Netflix and 50 Cent release the P. Diddy documentary. And what we're about to watch is 50 Cent's little troll interview. I'm trying to explain to you why he's going to act the way that he acts. The reason why this is so crazy is because imagine your biggest hater going to sell a documentary about you. And it's not just about your legal battle. It's about your entire life, because the 4-part P. Diddy documentary is about more than just the crimes he committed. It is about P. Diddy's entire life, A to Z. So this means that Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, authored P. Diddy's entire life on the biggest platform in the world right now. That is some true hater shit. He wrote his story for him and gave it out to the public. And there's nothing that P. Diddy can do about it. There's nothing. Like, that's crazy. It's really crazy. So knowing that, let's take a look at this interview.
Netflix making news this week with a new documentary featuring never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs in moments that he clearly viewed as secret, including a high-stakes call with his lawyer just days before his now infamous arrest, plus Diddy reacting in real time as new lawsuits dropped against him.
Oh my
Combs
God.
has publicly objected that he says the videos were, quote, stolen.
So this is a really crazy part of it all. In the very beginning of 50 Cent's documentary on Netflix, it shows these videos of P. Diddy talking to his attorney. And it's like, well, 50, how'd you get these? Clearly what happened was P. Diddy thought he was going to make his own documentary, maybe his own redemption story. So somebody told him, start filming everything. So he had a videographer that he trusted to film everything inside the hotel room, his reactions to things, everything that was going on. And then while he was in jail, 50 Cent reached out to that videographer and said, hey, let me buy that footage. I don't know how this works exactly. Maybe some videographers or something in the comments can let us know. But do the videographers own some portion of that? Or did they sign something and 50 Cent just said, hey, if they sue you for anything, I'll just pay for it? It's a question for the people.
I want to have a life to be able to live. You know, it's really going to be hard for me to take more hits than I take it, God forbid, get in front of a jury and have a chance. And so I'm having this emergency call because something has to give. I've listened, I've been a superb client, as you said.
Oh.
I jumped on the plane. I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
Another famous rapper is, of course, behind this film, 50 Cent, who has long publicly clashed with Diddy and has recently expanded into a wide range of film and TV projects.
Look at
He has plenty to say about Combs' record. The rapper, actor, and producer joins me now. He's sold over 30 million albums, won all kinds of awards.
Wait! Me too, 50.
Actor and producer joins me now. He's sold over 30 million albums, won all kinds of awards and accolades along the way, and is now a successful film and TV producer. And we're also joined by his colleague on the project, Alexandria Stapleton, an Emmy-winning showrunner and director of this series. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Always great to have a 50-day.
Yeah, it's always going to be good. Great for me.
Unless
There
you're
we
Diddy.
go. It's an important project, clearly. The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together. So, you know, they should expect it to...
He's really trying to get that media training through. That, you know, that when they were doing the media training, 50 Cent, and then we're going through the questions they were asked, 50 was just, yep.
perform like Reggie Jackson did.
He's so happy about it.
Yeah, I think the why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, you know, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans. It's four parts, and it spans over 30 years of pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
It's an important story, and you could just tell it with all the public material. Mm-hmm. You go further, you've gotten your hands on some extra new material people are going to see for the first time, including this video. Any journalist would want to know how you got it.
ZocDoc is a free website where you can compare and secure a booking for a doctor in your area. Sometimes 72 hours, sometimes 48 hours, and sometimes even next day, girl. That's right. And I know, you're like, BOZE, there's no way that this is free. And I'm like, yes, girl, it's free. I mean, I don't know if the doctor's paying for it or what, but I know that I've been using this thing for a hot minute and I ain't paying nothing. The best part is you can even connect it to your insurance so you can see what doctors in your area take your insurance and book it that day. Now, whether the appointment is that day, that's up for debate. If you live in a large city, maybe. But in the very least, they can get you in sooner than some of these appointments talking about we can get you new patient. We'll get you in 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months? I am sick. Help me. Help me. I'm trapped in this raccoon suit. Your doctor's profile also includes various patient reviews, because if you're like me, that's the first thing that I look up. I need to know, how close are you? Can you take me now? Remember, I'm trapped in this raccoon suit. And I want to know if you take my insurance. Boom, boom, boom. ZocDoc has got it all. And like I said, guys, it's totally free. So just do us a favor and use my code to let them know where you came from. All you got to do is go to ZocDoc.com/BOZEVTW. It's like BOZE versus the world. So ZocDoc.com/BOZEVTW. You're welcome. Play that little sound effect. Chewy said, why do they have beef? Because he knew that Diddy was a pervert from the jump. Him and Eminem were calling this out like years ago, but like a lot of people still went with the money, power, and popularity. And listen, this is all just social dynamics. You guys, I'm sure, have seen this before in your own life before. You've gone against the grain of certain people that had power, and then you see other people follow suit with them, even if you know they're the most f***ed up people ever, because I don't know, but look, you're here, you're in this community, so you're probably the person that went the other direction, much like 50 Cent.
Sean Diddy Combs, in the heat of this, right before the arrest for the trial we just discussed, in private moments, talking to his lawyer, cameras running. Let's take a look.
Listen to what Diddy says here.
And then, so you at the wrong place looking to see what the people with the possible jurors are thinking. It could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of media and propaganda.
Diddy is literally telling his attorney, look at his face. Curtis, boy, he's on his best behavior. But Diddy is literally telling his attorney, I need you to find the scummiest person that you can that will deal with my case right now. Because people with integrity were turning down Diddy's case, not only because there was a mountain of evidence, but because it was nasty. And attorneys are allowed to say no.
50, how'd you get it, and what does that scene show?
Well, I mean, you know, you're a journalist, Harvey. Harvey, you would not disclose your sources.
We usually don't.
Yeah, but I got it.
What he said.
And what do you think it conveys? Because we see someone trying to pull the strings and talking about, he would say affecting, others would say manipulating the public views of the allegations.
I think that, you know, one big theme of the series is to go behind the scenes to really understand how brilliant you could say Sean Combs is at marketing, owning his narrative, controlling the narrative at all times. And so why would that stop, you know, when his life is on the line? So I think that, you know, on its face, that's what it is. But as you get deeper in the film, you start to realize, you know, perhaps how some of these tactics, you know, how they really came to present themselves, you know, during the trial.
You show that, his abilities, his early rise. Right. Alexandra, you also give time to victims of the alleged abuse. Some of the cases are in different procedural postures. And you show victims who were women and men. Why is that important?
I didn't finish the doc. I didn't see that yet.
Sexual assault, sexual violence, you know, that should... there should be, gender should not be a part of that conversation. When you are a victim, you are a victim. And I think that, you know, this series was a platform in a way for these alleged victims to come forward, give their truth, put context to their situations when so much of it was ripped out, you know, and we just went, the world was going for the salacious headlines, and they really had the time to tell their story.
Okay, also, I just want to mention, that's really great that they gave people the platform after the court case, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of things that most of us would consider evidence do get thrown out in court proceedings because there's something missing from it. And so certain pieces of victim stories that could just like seal the whole deal sometimes get thrown out. And they don't ever get to talk about it. They never get to release it. And then also, for a lot of victims, once the court case is over, it's just done. That's it. And if it's an unfavorable verdict, it can hurt even more. But to get the opportunity to go on this #1 documentary on Netflix and like say the things that are important to you, that people should know, that happened, that were true, that were real, that can be really cathartic, you know, if they want to go on. And it sounds like they were able to. Like, think about it. For most people, it's over after the court case. But imagine you get some justice in the court case, and then you also get to tell the story on the biggest thing that you possibly could. I'm rocking with that.
The film takes us way behind the PR or propaganda machine. You see Diddy the day he's finding out about new suits against him while he's in New York preparing for a possible criminal arrest. Right. This is another moment from the video that 50 said he won't tell us where he got it. But it's a rare window into his thinking. I can say, just like Nixon didn't think the Watergate tapes would come out against him, it would appear that Diddy did not think he would lose control of this video as he talks about an accuser. Take a look.
Oh, hold on. Look at Curtis's face before we go into this one. What is about to be in this clip?
As he talks about an accuser. Take a look.
Play the clip.
I don't know what level of brokenness, disease is going on. God told me to do nothing, so I gotta do what God told me to do. And you gonna stay steady in the storm. We ain't about to be tripping. That was a lie. The girl that's in my group that was on my last album. You're on my last album now. All of a sudden, I'm this person. I'm this monster.
No, honey, you've been that. Did y'all see in the documentary that one segment where, warning, this will be graphic, okay? P. Diddy sent this lady a letter talking about you're gonna do what I tell you to do because the girls that do what I tell them to do are the ones or something. By the way, I'm stroking my shit right now while I'm writing this to you. I'm gonna go watch some porn now. All right, God bless and God be with you.
Alexandria, what is this show and the story you're telling?
Well, this is a moment where the lawsuits, I would say, take a turn and they become very personal for him. Don Richard is one of the alleged victims who filed a lawsuit, and I think that this is a moment where he was nicked. You know, his armor was nicked, I guess you could say, because I think, you know, Sean Combs is a person who probably feels like, you know, to step to him, especially legally, takes a lot of courage that I don't think he really assumed that a lot of people were going to have, even though the Cassie, you know, lawsuit had already been out. And so I think he was a little off balance, but that quickly turned to anger.
And 50, the project, I've seen all 4 episodes, it doesn't feel like a personality critique. It feels like it goes to the conduct, the alleged abuse, some of it alleged, some of it proven. And so you also show, one person who worked with Diddy, this was a Bad Boy co-founder who had a falling out with him, as apparently many people did. And it goes beyond the bravado. Some would say, 50, you have some bravado, and that's okay. In getting to know you, I've learned that you could have been a full-time psychologist and done very well with that. You have a keen eye for people. Fair?
Oh, yeah, I try.
Mr. Burroughs makes the argument that Diddy was overcompensating, that he wasn't initially actually a tough guy.
Right.
And then,
Dude,
the old saying,
you know what? I would comfortably argue that this is correct. I think that from the very beginning, 50 Cent has always been smarter than P. Diddy. And here's the thing. P. Diddy, to me, is just literally pea-brained, because I'm sure you guys have heard my rant on this before when I've talked about, you know, Fulmer and some other stuff. There are some people where their brain is all lust and sexual, just like being a pervert, and them being a good business person or them being charismatic or them being an entertainer is really just a gateway for them to get sex. The end goal is the sex, okay? The perversion. I know, I sound like a pastor right now. Where's my cross? It's really, and I mean that, you know? All of that stuff is a vessel to get to sex. I personally, just based off of the history that we've seen for 50 Cent, like, this motherfucker is just a business person. He is a smart business person that can hold a grudge for 20 years. And like this guy just said, he reads people and he plays the long game. And in order to play the long game, you have to be a fairly smart person. P. Diddy was the type of person where he just wants sex every turn. And so every week there's a new struggle for power. But that's why 50 Cent is able to sit back sometimes and be like, okay, you know, let's do. And look, you got to be a smart person to do that. And I tell you something right now. Dumb people in power hate smart people that are not vying for power. They are so terrified of it because they think that you are like them. They think that at any point you are going to stand up and use your intelligence to take power from them because they project onto you their power hungriness. And so they're terrified of people like him. And so that's probably why they didn't like him from the jump. And he said, all right, let's play. Let's play ball.
Be careful who you pretend to be. You might become them.
This is true.
Did that happen to him in your view?
I'm not sure if that's what transpired, but you know, because I don't know him to be tough. Like we haven't even had problems. Like me and him. Like our issue, they'll say we had beef for 20 years, but I have hired both of his sons for different projects that I worked on, like both two different television shows, Quincy and Justin. You know, so I don't like have that energy towards him, like where we trying to hurt each other. All I would like while other people pointed out those situations, like that he was dangerous like that, I said, oh, okay. You know, I take it in, but we never got
correct.
there.
Alexandria, the story also broadens well beyond the recent case. You look at a very controversial incident he was involved in early in his life, where people were badly hurt and killed, lost their life, but it was like a melee, not one-on-one violence. You look at the infamous case in the nightclub with J-Lo, where another artist, Shine, took the rap, not him.
Ooh, really good point. Maggie Kitty just mentioned part of his answer there might be so that they don't have any grounds for Diddy saying that there was malice behind this and it was like defamatory. Great point. So yeah, 50 just sitting back there being like, what? We didn't like each other.
You trying to tell a story that he's been getting away with things this whole time, or is that up to the viewer to decide?
Absolutely up to the viewer. I think that my job was to show patterns, you know, and my job was to report the facts and things that happened. And I think that it's pretty obvious that there are patterns that follow him, trails, you know, of destruction and you know, devastation that follow. And I think that, again, context is everything. And so when you're talking about Sean Combs, when you're talking about these cases, you can't just cherry pick one to make it all make sense. You have to look at the piece as a whole.
Yeah. Now we have to talk about Tupac. Which I wasn't committed to, but then I watched the doc. So,
Didn't know you were
So in the documentary, they very loosely but intriguingly point to Diddy possibly having a strong connection to Tupac's murder. Now, listen, folks, there's only but so much I can say. Watch the episode, okay? And hey, y'all ever heard that Eminem lyric before where he talk about Biggie and Tupac? Look, bitch, I don't know, but the case is closed, so there's only so much we can say. And there's only but so much they could say in the documentary, but let me just say, it's not looking good. Didn't you kind of allude to it in the Suge Knight video? Bitch, I've been deep in this for years, okay? 50, I've been working with you for a minute, okay? We've been out here. But there's only so much we can say.
you have a lot of people saying stuff in there.
That's right. They couldn't say much, but they said enough.
Maybe he was responsible for that murder, which has never been proven. That's a very serious thing.
But we have Keefe D over in Vegas now, getting ready to go on trial for that case, saying those things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with his trial. I think right now it's up for August of 2026, and so it'll be very interesting. It was fascinating, though, to unearth, different people that have...
BOZE come to Toronto on Friday. 50 Cent is going to be here for his Cognac release. Girl, I am so crazy that I would do that. I should not just get a flight to Toronto.
Are not in the direct line of, when all the Keefe news came out, someone like Kirk Burrows, you get to understand more of his opinion about what was going down. But I think more than just the actual murders and the tragic deaths of both Tupac and Biggie, I think that for us, it was really important to understand some of the dynamics of those three, Sean Combs, Biggie, and Tupac, and what was really going on behind the scenes. That often gets lifted because everyone just wants to talk about, the murder, and not to really digest why.
But do you think a viewer's left with the impression that he was responsible?
I think that that's really up to the court system and not to me, or the film. We're just presenting, things that have been reported on, have been said by Keefe D, himself repeatedly, and the LAPD.
Keefe D is the supposed assassin. Wait, what was
by Keefe D, himself repeatedly, and the LAPD.
Show some love, brother love.
Go on.
He's right. You're 50 years old.
What he was saying, yeah. And yeah, you're speaking about a key person who some people would say, oh, that's strong evidence. Other people would say, when you get into years later and people with various agendas, you don't know. You have a juror in here. What did that show us about this case? Because there is a tension within all this. It's no stranger to many people that the justice system fails in all sorts of ways. You show how it failed survivors and Cassie, clearly. At the same time, he beat the case in New York.
Yeah, dude, oh my God. Like, I know that Diddy got 50 months, and like, it was a little scary at one point because I thought he was just gonna go free, you know? But like, yo, I gotta say, Cassie really put her neck out on the line there, and that girl did not get no justice. She made it easier for other people to, you know, actually get their foot in the door and talk about what happened. But dude, Cassie, yeah.
For the day it happened, and I looked at 50's Instagram for Diddy News, as so many Americans do. And in all fairness, 50 said, okay, he beat a big part of the case, right? You said. Many people think that was an unjust outcome, but when talking to the jurors, what did you find? Because the film looks at all of this horror, but then finds that a jury of his peers in New York, ultimately in this era, said the government did not prove the whole RICO case.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really complicated. And I think that to break down what went right and what maybe went left or wrong in that trial is that's a whole other documentary.
When you had,
I need more 50's commentary.
He did great. He beat the case. To me, that what he was charged with, that's a victory. Like that, to end up with 50 months when you had when your life on the line is a victory, you know. But to be the only person that's incarcerated for hiring and transporting male prostitutes is different.
Yeah, life on the line, also a 50 lyric.
Yeah. Wait, you know, y'all heard any stories about what happened in the jails with Sean Combs in there? Are those true? Is it true?